Every year, people around the world spend more than $66 billion on birthday cakes, with North America alone making up nearly half of that. It shows just how central a cake has become to every celebration, from small family gatherings to huge parties. Behind that sweet tradition is a high-speed world of factories where massive machines, robotic arms, and nonstop production lines turn basic ingredients into thousands of frosted cakes a day. But how do they do it? Well, we will uncover the entire process here at the Process World. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Every birthday celebration feels incomplete without a cake, but this tradition goes back much further than most people think. In ancient Greece, round honey cakes were offered to Artemis, the goddess of the moon, decorated with candles to glow like the night sky. The Romans later baked their own sweet breads with nuts and honey, reserved for weddings and special birthdays of important figures. Centuries later in Germany, the idea of a child's birthday cake, known as Kinderfest, took shape. Families baked cakes topped with candles, one for each year of life, and an extra for good fortune. These cakes were kept burning throughout the day, then eaten at the evening feast. At first, only the wealthy could afford such luxuries, since refined sugar and ovens were expensive. The Industrial Revolution changed everything. Affordable sugar, better ovens, and the invention of baking powder made cakes easier to bake and decorate. By the 20th century, boxed cake mixes allowed families everywhere to prepare birthday cakes quickly at home, and soon bakeries and factories were producing them on a massive scale. When it comes to how they do it, well, you'll be stunned. Before a single cake hits the oven, the factory floor comes alive with preparation. Workers step into spotless environments, slipping on gloves and protective gear to make sure every step meets strict hygiene standards. Cleanliness is the very first ingredient in any cake factory. Next comes the gathering of raw materials. Massive bags of flour are lifted by robotic arms. Sugar is poured from silos, and eggs are transported in bulk to automated cracking machines. Every ingredient is checked for quality. No shortcuts allowed when producing food at such a large scale. Factories rely on strict measurements, so ingredients are weighed and portioned with precision to guarantee that every cake will look, taste, and feel the same. Flour, sugar, fats, and flavorings are lined up for the mixers. Eggs are sorted and separated, yolks in one direction, whites in another, ready to play their role in both batter and frosting. Even water is monitored to meet consistent standards, since tiny changes can affect texture. With the ingredients ready, the real action begins at the mixing stations. In this stage, giant industrial mixers, some large enough to hold hundreds of liters at once, start turning flour, sugar, eggs, fats, and liquids into a smooth, consistent batter. These machines are designed for power and precision, ensuring that every batch has the same texture no matter how big the order is. Accuracy is key here. Automated systems measure each ingredient down to exact weights before feeding them into the mixers. Too much flour or too little liquid could affect how the cake rises, and in a factory making thousands of cakes a day, consistency is everything. Continuous mixing systems keep the process flowing non-stop, while batch mixers handle specific recipes in controlled amounts. Inside the mixing bowl, paddles and whisks whip air into the batter, giving cakes the lift and softness they'll need once they hit the oven. The mixture has to be smooth enough to pour but strong enough to hold its structure. Once the batter is ready, it flows straight into the depositor machines. These machines act like precision hands, pouring exact amounts of batter into trays or molds lined up on conveyor belts. Every portion is measured down to grams, ensuring that each cake comes out the same size and weight. No guesswork, no uneven layers, just perfect portions rolling one after another. From here, the filled molds move into massive tunnel ovens. These ovens stretch for meters and run non-stop, with cakes traveling slowly through on a conveyor while heat surrounds them evenly on all sides. Some factories also use rotary ovens, where trays rotate continuously to make sure no part of the cake bakes faster than another. The goal is always the same: a uniform rise and a golden finish across thousands of cakes at once. Temperature control is everything. Sensors constantly monitor heat to keep it steady because even the slightest change can affect texture. Smaller cakes may finish in around 20 minutes, while larger sponge bases take closer to 50. By the time they exit the ovens, the entire factory smells like warm sponge, proof that science and timing have done their job. This stage transforms liquid batter into solid, fluffy cakes, setting the stage for slicing, filling, and decorating. Without the precision of automated depositing and the reliability of these industrial ovens, producing cakes on such a massive scale wouldn't be possible. Now, freshly baked cakes don't head straight to decoration. First, they need to cool down and be prepared for layering. Once the sponges reach the right temperature, they move on to conveyor lines where automatic slicers take over. These machines are fitted with high-speed blades or wires that cut through each cake with remarkable precision, dividing them into 3 or 4 perfectly even layers. Why is this step so important? Consistency. Each layer has to be the same thickness so the frosting spreads evenly and the final cake holds its shape. In a factory setting, even a slight tilt or uneven slice would throw off the look of the finished product. That's why these slicers are calibrated carefully to deliver identical cuts across thousands of cakes every day. The sliced layers then travel on conveyors to the assembly line, neatly separated and ready to meet their frosting. Some factories add a light mist of syrup at this stage to keep the sponge moist, locking in freshness for when the cake reaches the customer. By the time the layers leave this section, they're flat, even, and completely prepared for the next stage of filling and decoration. Inside the factory, massive industrial mixers churn out tubs of cream-based frosting made from carefully balanced ingredients like butter, sugar, egg whites, or other stabilizers depending on the recipe. These machines whip the mix at high speeds, creating a smooth, fluffy texture that's easy to spread and holds its shape. The process doesn't stop with mixing. Automated systems portion frosting into dispensers that spread it evenly across each cake layer as they move along the conveyor. Syrup sprayers sometimes add a thin coat of sweetness first, helping the sponge stay moist. Then, as the layers pass through, the spreading machines glide frosting across the surface with exact precision. Each swipe is consistent. No heavy clumps on one side, no gaps on the other. For cakes with multiple flavors, specialized mixers prepare different batches of frosting, whether it's classic vanilla, rich chocolate, or even coffee cream. Robotic arms and nozzles then apply them to match the cake's design. The machine-controlled spreads are so accurate that factories can guarantee the same creamy bite from the first slice to the last. By the end of this stage, the simple sponge has been transformed into a layered treat, held together with rich frosting. It's the step that locks in flavor and texture, setting the stage for decoration. Factories use specialized machines equipped with nozzles that can pipe cream into swirls, flowers, and borders with incredible precision. These designs are programmed patterns that give every cake a polished, professional finish. For added variety, robotic arms apply toppings like fruit slices, macarons, or chocolate shavings. In some cases, the cakes are coated with glossy ganache or sprinkled with coconut to match specific recipes. Each pass through the line gives the cakes a new detail, building them up layer by layer into visually striking products ready for celebration. Personalization is another key feature. Advanced decorating machines can pipe messages like "Happy Birthday" directly onto the cake surface in perfect handwriting. Factories that handle large custom orders rely on this technology to produce hundreds of personalized cakes without delay, ensuring everyone looks neat and consistent. While most of the heavy lifting is done by automation, some factories still include final touches from skilled workers, placing delicate items or adding details that require human judgment. This blend of robotics and artistry ensures that even mass-produced cakes carry a sense of care. Once the cakes are fully decorated, they move into one of the most important stages: packaging. Now, before a single box is sealed, the cakes are cooled to the right temperature to prevent condensation. This step ensures the frosting stays firm and the decorations don't smudge inside the package. Factories use automated wrapping systems that can handle hundreds of cakes per hour. Transparent wraps or sturdy boxes are applied with precision, keeping the cakes protected while also showing off the designs. Some packaging lines even use modified atmosphere sealing or nitrogen flushing to extend freshness, especially for cakes that need to travel long distances. Labeling machines add key details like the production date, expiration date, flavor, and brand name. This information is vital for both safety and customer trust. Many factories also invest in eye-catching box designs that make the product look appealing on store shelves, combining practicality with marketing. In recent years, eco-friendly packaging has become more common. Materials like recyclable paperboard and biodegradable films are replacing plastics in many facilities, reflecting changing consumer expectations. By the end of this stage, the cakes are fully packaged products, sealed for freshness, labeled for traceability, and styled for presentation. From conveyor belts to shipping pallets, everything is designed to deliver a cake that arrives looking just as perfect as it did when it left the decorating line. And that's it. Now to you, if you could design your own birthday cake and watch an entire factory produce it exactly the way you want, what flavors, decorations, or wild creations would you choose? Comment down below, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos.